Hi, I'm Brooks Robertson, and welcome to the Lakeside Coffee House in Orchard Lake, Michigan. I'm really excited to be here to play you a few songs today, and you probably notice I'm not in the coffee house. I'm also not in Michigan. In fact, I'm in Bozeman, Montana at my home studio here, and I'm going to start with a song that I wrote called Jonesin'. So I was about 10 years old when I first picked up the guitar, and my dad got me my first guitar, and there was always a guitar around the house because my dad plays as well. And it wasn't until I was about 11 years old, my dad and I went to the Noki Edwards Music Festival just outside of Eugene, Oregon, where I grew up. And we saw some amazing musicians play that day. And in particular, some amazing fingerstyle guitarists, Noki Edwards, Buster B. Jones, Tom Bresh, Bob Saxton, Bobby Gibson, Leon Smith. We saw a lot of great players, and Frank Walden. All these wonderful fingerstyle guitar players were playing at this festival, and I had never seen anybody play fingerstyle live, and Really, it was seeing Buster B. Jones in particular who inspired me so much to want to get more serious about playing guitar. That same day, just after watching Buster's set, I told my dad I want to play like that. So I was extremely fortunate a few years later to become one of Buster B. Jones's students after he moved from Nashville, Tennessee out to Eugene, Oregon area. And I spent about 7 years studying with Buster as one of his students, got to tour all around the US with him in Canada and Europe and Ireland, and it was an incredible experience getting to be taken under his wing. And he was just an amazing teacher and a good friend of mine, so I want to go ahead and play you one of his tunes now called Just Another Rag. That last tune, Just Another Rag, is a lot of fun to play. It's a fast one, and actually Chet Atkins said about Buster B. Jones, he's the best finger picker I've seen since Jerry Reed. He plays like he's double parked, because Buster played so fast all the time, and that's one of his really great tunes. And I think I'll play you another Buster B. Jones composition here now. This is a song that Buster wrote for a good friend of his in Italy, who was a guitar festival organizer. And this tune is called Ciao Pier Paolo. There's a really great event that takes place every July in Nashville, Tennessee, and that's the Chet Atkins Appreciation Society Convention. So the Chet Atkins Appreciation Society was something that was really born out of the Chet Atkins fan club many years ago. And it's really a society of people who are big fans of Chet Atkins. Some of them were friends with Chet, some of them played music with Chet, but it's really about keeping his music alive and keeping his legacy alive. So the convention that happens is kind of like a big festival. It's 4 days long, happens there in Nashville, Tennessee, and I've been going every year since 2002. When I was 12, I went for the first year with Buster B. Jones. And it was so special to get a chance to go there with Buster. He had been performing there for years, and he really knew everybody. And so he introduced me to so many great fingerstyle players from around the world who I've been very inspired by and people I've become friends with. And I've just met so many great friends there. So I've seen players there like Martin Taylor, Guy Van Duzer, John Knowles, Tom Bresch, Tommy Emmanuel, Jim Nichols. Gosh, the list goes on and on. There's literally about 100 performers who are incredible players from around the world that gather there every year. And so it's been a great place to meet other fingerstyle players. That's actually where I met another one of my great friends, John Standifer, who has played at the Lakeside Coffee House before. And he and I became really good friends through the Chet Atkins Convention, and it was there that we realized we only lived about 15 minutes apart. John lives in Vancouver, Washington, and at the time I used to live in Portland, Oregon. So John and I started getting together once a week to play some guitar, and before long we had a really great chemistry and worked out a bunch of tunes. So John and I actually recorded 2 CDs together. The first one we did was called We Came to Play, and then the second album we did was called Guitar Smiths. And you can find those on my website, also on John's website as well. But it was such a great collaboration and so much fun working with John for maybe 3+ years. We performed together and did those recordings. And at the Chet Atkins Convention is also where I met my good pal Steve Orr, who's invited me here today to play for you. So it's just a great convention. If you want to find out more about it, chetsociety.com is where you can check it out. And anyway, I figured I would mention that if you like the type of stuff I'm playing for you, you would probably love attending the Chet Atkins Appreciation Society convention. And I was there in the audience 4, 5, 6 years ago maybe, and I was watching a performance of Tommy Emmanuel, and he played a really cool arrangement of his of a Burt Bacharach tune called Close to You. And I really like that tune, and I really like Tommy's arrangement, so I stole his arrangement from him, and that's what I'm going to play next for you, Close to You. Another good friend that I've made through the Chet Atkins Appreciation Society is an incredible musician named Pat Bergersen. And Pat Bergersen is a really fine guitar player and an amazing harmonica player. He played and toured with Chet Atkins and Jerry Reed and numerous other great artists. He lives in Nashville, Tennessee, and I've been fortunate to teach at a few guitar camps alongside Pat. We taught at Tommy Emmanuel's guitar camp in California, and we've both taught a few times at the Rocky Mountain Guitar Camp in Colorado. And I want to play you a tune that actually was co-written by Pat Bergersen and Chet Atkins. And it's one of my absolute favorite songs. It's a beautiful tune called The Mountains of Illinois. Hope you enjoy. Up next, I want to play you a medley of a few songs written by one of my big guitar influences and one of my favorite guitarists of all time, Mr. Jerry Reed. So here's two of his songs put together, Jiffy Jam and Blue Finger. last tune was called Let the Sunshine In, a tune written by Buster B. Jones. And he wrote that shortly after he moved from Tennessee to Oregon. And he moved there to Oregon in the rainy season, which lasts maybe 7 months or so. And he recorded that tune as well on his album called Just Us. I'm going to go ahead and play you another Buster B. Jones piece. And this is one that I learned when I was just a teenager, really the time from when I was about 12 to 19. I was studying with Buster B. Jones, and my parents would oftentimes take me out to his house, and we'd all hang out together on the weekends, and then I would get a chance to just stay over at Buster's house the whole weekend long and just play guitar the whole time. Some days we would play guitar 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hours at a time. And it was just such a great experience and so much fun. And I remember there was one time I was out there and we had been playing guitar all day, maybe 7 hours worth of playing. And by the end of the day, I was exhausted. I couldn't even think about playing any more guitar. And I said, "Okay, Buster, I'm going to sleep. I'm going to the guest bedroom." And this was, I don't know, maybe like 9 or 10 p.m. He said, "Okay, fine, suit yourself, but I'm going to stay up and keep playing." So I went to bed, and the next thing I know, in the middle of the night, Buster came and knocked on the door and came in and he said, "B, you got to come downstairs. You got to listen to this tune I just wrote." And I just was half asleep, and I went downstairs, and everything was nice and dark and quiet, and he had the TV on, and he sat down and he said, "So I was down here just playing guitar and practicing and working on some things," and he said that there was a pantyhose commercial on TV that came on, and there was this really beautiful Brazilian guitar music playing in the background. And he said, "I got inspired, and so I wrote this tune." And he sat down and he played me this amazing piece of music he had just written in one sitting, really, and it was just so cool to see that. And I said, "Wow, Buster, that is beautiful, congratulations." And I turned around to go back to bed because I was exhausted. And he said, No, where are you going? Come back here, sit down, I want to teach you how to play this." So he taught me how to play that whole tune that night. And I woke up the next morning and was sitting in his kitchen practicing. I was just used to sit at the kitchen table there, and I was practicing. And it wasn't until about the crack of noon that Buster got up and came into the kitchen, and I was practicing that tune. He opened the fridge door to get something out, and he just stopped. He said, "What is that tune? That's beautiful. I've heard that before." I said, "Buster, that's the tune that you taught me last night." And he said, "Oh, that's right. I couldn't remember if that was a dream or if that was real." So I actually sat down and got to re-show him how to play that tune. And that's what I want to play for you now. It's a beautiful song called Sandy. want to thank you for tuning in and watching my performance here for this virtual Lakeside Coffee House. And I also want to thank Steve Orr for inviting me to play for you. And I'm going to do one more tune here that I wrote called I Hate the Boy. I look forward to seeing you next time live at the Lakeside Coffee House in Michigan.